This week we are giving away one of these Expo swag bags. Stick around to the end of the episode to find out how you can win.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm CT.
I'm Dean.
Welcome to the Blue Ridge Bonfire, the official weekly update show of Blue Ridge Overland gear. We are all about overcoming the obstacles to getting outside.
All right, so last week we debuted a recut of our trip navigation video. Basically, we took two of the segments that were here on the bonfire, lengthened them up, some stuff that made the cutting room floor, made it back in, put it together into one nice polished video, so it's a standalone thing. So if you want to go back and rewatch that, you can. Also new at Blue Ridge Overland Gear, because of the trip navigation series, we have now started offering maps. So we are now a dealer for Purple Lizard maps and the Backcountry Discovery Route series maps that were both used in the trip navigation resources videos. So many of you asked where to get them. Well, guess what? You can get them from us. That also means you can earn member reward points when you buy the maps from us. So keep that in mind.
Yep. Thank you guys for all of the love. Orders have been pouring in way more than usual. Thank you guys for your patience. Some things may be on a little bit of delay as they have to be made actually from material to finished bag and all that fun stuff. So we have not forgotten about you. We're working hard to fulfill, and we will get them out to you guys as soon as we can.
All right, so that wraps up what's new. Let's talk about some events. So in some areas, things are starting to open up. Some events are happening, but also some other events are being canceled still. So for instance, the Bantam Jeep Festival in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the Toledo Jeep Festival in Toledo, Ohio, have both been canceled for 2020. Their rescheduled dates were scrubbed. Also, Overland Expo would have been this weekend. That's been postponed until July, but what's really cool is they are doing a virtual expo this weekend. So make sure you tune into that site. So that wraps up our events, and right now we're gonna throw it over to CT, and he is gonna share some of his professional video tips with you guys.
Today, I'm gonna answer the question that I get the most, actually, and that is, hey CT, what camera should I buy? So the answer is, it depends. Okay, see you next time. All right, I'm just kidding. I'll give you a little more context than that. So I personally have spent somewhere between $25,000 and $35,000 on all various manner of filmmaking, video related stuff. And in doing so, I have spent money on a bunch of unhelpful things, and hopefully I will help you guys not spend money on unhelpful things. So let's just jump right into it. So I will give you guys my top 5 questions to ask yourself when you're searching for a camera, and I will finish up with what my recommendation is, like the best camera out there, bang for your buck for making videos. So question number 1, does it have a microphone jack? People will watch a video if it has like okay-ish video quality, if it has good sound. Like if your sound is good and decent, they'll watch it. But even if the video quality is good, if the sound quality is terrible, people don't want to sit through that. Like people don't like sitting through bad audio, so just keep that in mind. And these days, like every camera shoots HD video that's like decent and okay, and it just doesn't matter anymore. So try to get over the like, I need 4K video, and try to delete that from your mind. So we'll get into like microphone types and all the various varieties of microphones in another video. For cameras and looking at cameras, make sure it's got a place to stick in a microphone. Question number 2, is it easy? How hard is it to go from picking the camera up to turning it on to then in getting set, hitting record, and now you're recording something? How long does that take? So imagine your truck just got stuck on an incline, you're off camber, it's in the woods, it's pouring down rain, and you just jumped out of the car, you grab your camera, you got your umbrella, and you need to capture this moment. Do you really want to be fiddling with the controls, or can you get to capturing the moment? And that's really what it comes down to. And that kind of segues into the next point here, is that when you get back and you're editing your video together, you want as many good shots to choose from to tell your story. And if your camera got in the way of that, you're gonna come back with fewer shots, and then you got less good stuff to tell your story with. And hey guys, I'm as bad as anyone at this. I tend to get the most complicated camera with the most features, and I shoot myself in the foot all the time. Another thing to look for is a flip around screen. It makes shooting so much easier. It means if I'm shooting down from up high, I can see what I'm doing. If I want to get a low angle, I can see what I'm doing. If I want to flip around and shoot myself, I can see what I'm doing. That goes a long way. So now question number 3. Does it have good video autofocus? Now, autofocus in video used to suck. When I started like 10 years ago, it was like no camera had it, and if it did have it, the autofocus video would jump around, it would hunt for you, and it just wasn't good to leave on because it was distracting and it looked really weird. And nowadays things have gotten way better. Brands like Canon and Sony and Lumix and all these guys have great autofocus in video. They've also gotten a lot smarter at finding faces and focusing on your eyes and that kind of thing. And that is the holy grail right there, is a camera that can find people and focus on them smoothly without jumping around. Now, camera manufacturers aren't the most helpful here because most of the specifications that you see listed for cameras and their autofocus and all that talk about the photography autofocus, which is often very different from how it performs with video recording. So how do you know? How do you find if this is a good choice? So the only surefire way is go look on YouTube for video autofocus tests for the camera that you're interested in, video autofocus tests. But there are some keywords to look for to make sure that you're getting something that's gonna work well for this. So if you're in Canon world, look for the term dual pixel autofocus. Pretty much every new Canon camera has this, but it's worth checking before that you buy. If you're a Panasonic Lumix type of guy, their video autofocus didn't become really good until their most recent cameras like the GH5. In Sony land, pretty much their entire mirrorless line has face detection in video, and it's fantastic. Most all of their recent mirrorless are really, really good options. Now, if you're a Nikon kind of person, you have some great options with their new Z line of mirrorless cameras, like the Nikon Z50. Now, I hate to say it, but all of the older Nikon's D series of DSLR and all of their DSLR offerings are epically terrible with video autofocus, like full stop. Unless it's one of the new Z series, you're gonna have a really bad video recording experience. So that brings me to question number 4. Can it shoot smooth video that's not all shaky? Well, cameras these days can stabilize their own footage as they go and take out a lot of that handheld shake, give you that smoother video, and also give you crisper photos, which is an awesome added bonus. So the good news is that more and more cameras and lenses come with this built in. Even the less expensive kit lenses that come bundled with cameras and all that kind of stuff have stabilization built in. So a lot of great options out there. Just keep that in mind when you're looking for lenses and that kind of thing. That brings me to question number 5. What size of sensor should I get? Now, this question is a little bit complicated and shrouded in mystery, so I will keep it as simple as possible. So sensors come in a variety of different sizes that are named all manner of unhelpful things. So on the small side, you have something called micro four thirds, and then APS-C, and then full frame, and all these names that don't really mean anything to compare to each other. So what are you getting? What is it? How does it work? How does it help me? How does it hurt me? What should I get? Hopefully I can answer those questions. Now, larger sensor sizes can give you a more pristine image with less noise and just generally a more clean look. They're also better in low light situations because they have a larger sensor, can gather more light and better expose the image. And they also create a more pleasing or more pronounced blurry background effect. And that's all just mechanics of a larger sensor size. Now, if you're looking at smaller sensor sizes, such as micro four thirds, these are common in the Panasonic Lumix cameras. They're smaller, lighter, more convenient to use and powerful, but they're not as great at low light, and they have a reduced blurry background effect. And that is just the mechanics of how lenses work. So that brings me to the middle ground, which is the sensor size called APS-C, which is a good balance of those two worlds, a good balance of cost, weight, functionality, low light capability, blurry background effect, all of that stuff. Now, I personally shoot on a full frame, sensor size camera. And I switched to this back in the photography days, like 10 years ago. And back then, the difference in quality between sensor sizes was a lot more pronounced. And nowadays, the difference in quality between sensor sizes is really impossible for me to tell. Like, I can't pick it out just by looking at most videos and photos. So I don't necessarily recommend the full frame camera route for most people. So that brings me to what camera that I recommend for online video content creation. All right, so my pick is the Canon M50 with the kit lens. Things I love about it. Number one, it only costs $500. Two, it's really easy to use. Canon is legendary for their ease of use, for the controls and the menus, and all that kind of stuff is dead simple. Next, it shoots beautiful Ultra HD video. It has incredible face detection autofocus in video. It has the flip out screen, so you can shoot yourself, you can shoot high-low and all that kind of fun stuff. It has a microphone input. The lens has stabilization to help with shaky handheld shooting situations. And then it has that APS-C size sensor. That's a good balance in terms of portability and capability. And lastly, it just shoots amazing photos too. Like, it's a phenomenal photo camera on top of all that. Now, you could go more expensive, but the return on going more expensive is small. You could go cheaper, but the issues with going cheaper are great. Now, next time we're going to talk about GoPros, drones, shooting on phones, point and shoot cameras, gimbals, all that kind of fun stuff. So come back next week and I'll see you then. And we're back.
And we're back. We're back.
And we are here for comments. And of course we went somewhere. We traveled through time and space. What are you talking about, man? All right, so last week we asked you guys, what is your go-to fireside beverage of choice? Here are a few that stood out to us.
At Mountain Adventure Camp said their go-to drink is the Alpine, which is hot chocolate with peppermint schnapps, which is great for those cool nights around the campfire. Great idea. Love it.
At Little Ariana on Instagram said Sex in the Woods, which is half warm pure maple syrup and half bourbon. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of jokes we could make here.
We also had a lot of suggestions, a lot of craft beer suggestions, a lot of hard cider, a lot of bourbon, a lot of bourbon, a lot of bourbon. And we even had some non-alcoholic suggestions, a lot of coffee drinkers, a lot of diet soda drinkers.
And that brings us to the weekly giveaway.
Weekly giveaway.
All right, so last week, what did we give away? Boom. The extra large Velcro pouch with the pouch mounting panel. Our random number generator from Google has chosen at Little Ariana. So congratulations, Ariana, you won a pouch mounting panel kit. Before we talk about next week's giveaway, a bit of history, okay? So we've been making the bags for Overland Expo for a while now, and they would pick all these crazy weird colors. So on the most recent Expo, they didn't order any bags, but we wanted to keep up the tradition and use some color choices of our own. So we did this beautiful burnt orange, and we have just a handful of those left over that we can give away on this show. Cool thing about them is they hold a gazetteer. Blam. So this is your opportunity to get a little map protection pouch. All right, so Dean, how do people win this week?
So in honor of the normal date when Overland Expo would be going on and virtual Overland Expo this weekend coming up, tell us your favorite or most memorable Overland Expo experience. Could be Expo East, could be Expo West, could be from one of the old ones, could be from one of the most recent ones. Just let us know, what do you like about Expo? What's your most memorable experience? Drop your comments below and you can win one of these Overland Expo swag bags.
We want to hear your stories. Leave them in the comments down below. Email us, bonfireblue@overlandgear.com. We look forward to reading your submissions. So if you love this show, but you don't have time to watch the video, check out the Blue Ridge Bonfire podcast, wherever you guys love to listen. I'm glad you guys could join us around the bonfire. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm CT.
I'm Dean.
And we'll see you next week.
That's Sasquatch.
Attack squirrel!